All right, this is the next day now since the last session, and we're taking a field trip now. We're at the high school where I still teach part-time, and just to say that 99% of our cutting here at the high school is scrap metal that we're cutting for practice welds, and we do that on this big Scotchman 50-ton shear, which is quite a nice machine, and that's what you got to do when you want to cut a lot of metal fast. You got to shear it rather than saw it, but we still got a saw here that we use for accurate cuts that we need in special projects. All right, here's the saw, and this is only a year or two old, but it's Chinese made, of course, and it's was bought out of the MSC catalog, and it's not a cheap saw. This was $2,500, but it's not nearly as good as that other one that I showed you the other day in my own shop, the Wells saw, but it's still a pretty nice saw. But some of the things I don't like about it is that the cover, that yellow cover that you see, is all plastic, real cheap. There was a decal on here that told the brand name. I don't even have that anymore, so I don't even know what brand this is. And it had the blade size on it, but I put it there in magic marker. But when you open the saw here, you can see the wheels, and we talked about flanged wheels the other day and the need for a flanged wheel on this type of saw. Not sure if this is going to show it. I guess it doesn't. But one thing I do not like about this saw is these extra idler wheels here, which have bearings that you know sooner or later are going to go bad. This is a wet saw, meaning that it does have a sump and a pump and everything in it. I do not use that because unless you use your coolant every day, you find that it's will be dried out or clogged up, and there's something that needs to be used every day or kind of not at all. This machine has nice controls on it. The red button is the off button, green is to start it, and then there's the coolant pump on there, and then an on and off for lowering the blade, and a very fine feed to adjust the rate at which the machine feeds. Let's see if I can show that to you. It's already down, but we can adjust that for a very slow feed. Can you see it going down even slower than that? We do have a vise on there that is rapid acting. There's a series of notches, but you can see me struggling with that. Right away, any kind of corrosion or dirt in there prevents it from sliding easily, just the opposite of the one I've got at home. I installed this threaded crank here rather than using shims like I showed you on mine at home for when we are cutting short pieces. This is a 4-speed saw. We can change the belts, which are in this cover right here, and I have it at the slowest speed, which is 86 feet per minute. Remember that cutting speeds on band saws are not in RPM, but they're in feet per minute. That's how many feet a blade passed through the work in 1 minute. This saw is on wheels, which is kind of nice, so we can move it around for sweeping. One thing I don't like about the saw, this is the crank for the vise, and this other hand wheel is the hand wheel used to put the blade tension on it. And it's very easy for kids to grab the wrong one and think that they're opening the vise, and actually they're loosening the blade or tightening the blade. So that's not a good feature. There's also a handle here to lift the whole unit. All right, now we'll get ready and cut a piece of 3-inch tubing. The saw is in motion, and we're cutting away. I got to set it at a real slow feed rate. This blade guide can be moved back and forth. I've got it set so that it's close to the work. One bad feature is that this blade guide cannot be moved closer to the work, so there's a rather large area of blade there that is can be dangerous and is unsupported. We want the blade supported as much as possible. Again, this is a 1-inch wide blade. I'm squirting water-based coolant in there, 40-to-1 ratio. This makes nice square cuts. That tube is for the coolant should we have that system in effect. There is a little brush right underneath this guard that did you see that? 2 different times, or make that 3, that the blade has stuck in the work, even though I'm taking a light cut. And it just shows you that this machine needs to be tweaked all the time, and it's not nearly as good as an American-made one. I know that I sound terribly prejudiced about some of this foreign equipment, but it just isn't right. Here's the old saw that I'm going to get rid of. This is a Wilton saw, and it's probably only about 10 years old, but you know, in a school it's not that easy to get rid of things, so this is declared surplus, but it still hasn't been taken off the inventory. But this saw, although it's Chinese made, but it has the Wilton name on it, and you would think, boy, this is one quality saw, but it was nothing but trouble, starting with the vise. And it was a quick-acting vise, and that whole system failed, and you can't get parts for it. The blade would come off constantly, and it was just a headache. Not a good saw at all. This is a brand new Starrett blade, and I'm going to show you how to fold them. To unfold them, I like to just, with gloves on, let them loose and let them fly on the ground. Here's a good way to fold them. Put your foot in there, fold them up like that. Another way to fold them is like this, like a V-belt. That's why I'm wearing gloves, but I didn't have long enough gloves when I unfolded it. That was really a sharp blade. You have to be even more careful if it's a skip-tooth woodworking blade. I should have had long gauntlet gloves. But, you know, we're real he-men that work in a machine shop, and so there's a lot more blood here than what there is pain.